Okay, so the M10X, right? Really, really cool, kind of innovative gun. Some people love them, some people hate them. I mean, they've had kind of like a little bit of a mixed report since they came out, but they're mostly a pretty darn good gun. The one thing I appreciate the most about it is that it's just innovative. It's kind of like an AK, and it's kind of like a SIG 550 series with that encapsulated bolt system. It's just something innovative and new. So, you know, we have a few here. Only problem is there's no aftermarket support. So how are we gonna make a pistol brace for this guy? How do you make that work with that button on the back there? They have the mag pull piece for the rifles, but then you'd have to go with like an SBR because there's no like mag pull pistol brace thing, no zip off pistol brace. So what's the solution? And it wouldn't really matter anyway because you can't find those parts, so what do? So here is a little something I came up with. Okay, so the Zostivas come with this little 1913 rail, some of them on the back, right? This is a piece that you can get from Zostiva, okay? It's got a little lip on the bottom that goes around the receiver, and then there's a bolt that passes through into the inside, and there's a little retaining plate that's like a nut. And then this piece just bolts right out of the back there, and then you can, you know, bolt on any 1913 style buffer tube or attachment folder, whatever you want to do, and put your stocks on there. So this one's a little SBR. So what I did here was I took the original trunnion out of the M&M, right? You have to kind of clear out the hole, as you'll see. So I ran a drill bit through there first, then I took a Dremel grinder and just sort of ground down these sides to give you that nice pass through. And then this piece, which goes to the original little 1913 plate, this piece was a little bit longer with that lip coming off it. So I cut that so that that will fit like so, and still allow the button to be depressed underneath it. And now I shaped this to fit in that crevice on the inside and be able to be, you know, screwed into from the inside in there. Now, the only issue I can see beyond that is, like, you don't want any rotation, like even if it's just slight. So what I did is, see, there's these two, well, there's actually four, tapped, they're already pre-tapped, little holes. I went to Home Depot and got some little screws. Well, they are screws, well, yeah, screws with Allen heads to go in there to prevent rotation. So let's put this all together here and we'll take a look-see. Okay, here we are. So far execution not perfect, but I think the idea is sound. If you see what I mean about putting those screws in there as like anti-rotation, because you only have the one bolt in the center, so it's going to want to rotate left or right, you know, either bottom or top, you know. And if you had the right size screw heads on there, you know, if you just put them on beforehand and then put the piece and they were wedged in there just, you know, perfectly, or even filed them slightly to fit perfectly, then that would have nowhere to go. As you can see, mine are a little bit too small, so I'm going to have to try something else. And that was just a, you know, something out of the bin there at Home Depot, socket cap screws. You know, nothing fancy, about $1 worth of stuff there. But, you know, the idea is sound. The button is still fully functional. I don't want to press it because I don't want to shoot the spring out all over the place again. But I'm going to pop it back in the firearm here and we'll check it out. Okay, back to the rotation issue. So as you can see, there's just one bolt, so it would wiggle wobble side to side. You don't want that. So like I was saying, those screws were intended to prevent it from doing so, but they were too small. The heads on them were. So I found some washers, and if I just shimmed them just correctly, and you know, I wish I had a few more washers. I believe these were from some sort of optic kit I had laying around, but you could definitely find some little teeny washers like that in your Home Depot bins. But all tightened down now. You can see applying pressure left and right, it doesn't go anywhere. So now I just got to tighten that nut down and we'll check her out. And also, as a note here, this thing's kind of cut at a funny angle. I'm probably gonna have to shim underneath it for now. What would be better is if you were to just take this piece here and flatten that back side out better on like a belt sander or something. I just don't have one readily available right now. We just moved, so I just don't have everything set up, but we'll figure this out. All right, so yeah, I put a little crush washer in there just to shim it, and you can see that brought it to be like a straight 90. So obviously that much material would have to be sanded or filed off the back, which I will obviously do here, but I'm just kind of mocking this up. And, you know, without being too, you know, I mean, it's not the greatest looking thing in the world, but it ain't fuck ugly either. So I think this is a viable solution that won't cost you a bunch of bucks. You know, if you've got these laying around, maybe, you know, you took it off your Zastava. Or, like I said, I don't think they're very much money. I think they're about $20 for the mount from Zastava. So, yeah, if you're handy and you've got one of these M&Ms, you know, laying around, a pistol, and you've been wanting to figure something out, there's a possibly viable option here. And we will continue to play with this and see where it takes us. But that's just my idea that I had today sitting in the shop. Okay, we're on day 2 of messing with this now, and as you can see, I pulled the little Picatinny plate off, and I am dremeling off. Right now it's not very smooth, but I'm dremeling off, and then I will finish with a nice mud file to smooth the surface. But I'm just trying to get it even and take that, it had like a slight taper to it that we had shimmed with that washer yesterday. Just trying to flatten that out, and then we will put it all back together. And I got some more little washers and stuff today. We'll get it all set up. Tried to find some more screws with a little bit bigger heads on them. But couldn't find anything that was that metric, like 3.5 size, whatever it was. Couldn't find anything, so gotta work with what we got. Okay, now, we did a pretty good job of flattening that out. You know, if the look of it bugs you, you know, you hit it with a little spray paint or something, clean her up, or you could even go and anodize it if you want to. It's aluminum. I think it's aluminum at least. And then, yeah, you know, sits pretty flat now. No real taper to it anymore, so that'll work quite nicely. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna move on to the screws that we had done yesterday. I tried to get some different ones here. These ones were silver, same size. I thought maybe they'd have a little bit bigger head on them, but they didn't. They didn't really have a ton of options at Home Depot, so I don't have like a machine shop or like you know, machinist type shop around here. So the only thing I can really do is order that sort of stuff online. But I did find the appropriate M3 washers, which will fit correctly around the base of this type of size screw. Not the right color, they didn't have it in black. But these ones are a little loose. You can see how that one's off to the side a bit. But these will sit snug, you know, and do the job a little bit better of shimming, well, I should say bracing our post in the middle here so it can't go side to side, can't either direction. Let's start getting her all back together. Man, it is nice when a little project pays off. Look how perfect that thing is sitting. Access to the button, shimmed left and right with the washers and little bolts there, or nuts, or bolts, yeah, God. One day I'll figure this out. But yeah, man, you know, if anything, I might go back and put a little rock set or thread locker on the main bolt there, but man, that is rock solid, perfectly straight. Let's get it all set up now. Man, would you look at that? Put your mind to something and you get it done. I mean, obviously you can see I could have filed a little bit more. I was just doing it by hand. Like I said, if I had had my machines all set up, which are all up at the house in the garage, and it is freezing cold, so I'm not doing all that. But, pardon me, it looks good. Very happy with that. It's gonna be very solid. I'm not gonna have any problems with that. So guys, if you got an M10X out there and you found it to be an interesting gun like I did, there you go. An affordable solution where you don't gotta go spend, you know, 100 some odd bucks on the Magpul Zukov end and end up having to do an SBR. Because as far as I know, there's no other alternatives. Stormworks and all the other companies that typically do this sort of thing aren't making anything for it. So you're gonna have to do something for yourself. If you need some help, need some assistance, do feel free to give us a call. We don't mind, you know, we'll make you another one. You know, just buy the part and, you know, pay us a little bit for labor, but, you know, we'll help you out. All right, guys, talk to you soon.